morning, Tampa Bay, and welcome to Tampa Bay Fishing Radio. This is Captain Zac Sturm and here co-host Gray Burchell.
What's going on?
Man, we are really excited today. We have our friend Jacob from Boateka joining us. Jacob, how you doing this morning?
Good.
Man, I tell you what, guys, we Bone TV listeners, watchers, viewers, whatever, we're getting used to this. Just kind of roll with it. Welcome. Hope you guys are enjoying it. If you're not driving to work and you're somewhere where you can watch it, you feel free to see the stream of us in the studio. It's on theboneonline.com. Click on the link there, and you'll be able to see us in person. I know I'm not the most impressive thing to look at, but we do have Isaiah on the boards, and hey, he's the handsome one of the group.
Nah, it's Gray.
I'm just regular. Also, if you're not enjoying it, don't watch it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you don't have to do that.
Absolutely.
It's
we can't even get the lighting right. I'm washed out.
It's okay. We're gonna roll with it today. You know,
it's a work in progress.
Yeah, the lighting, I guess, is something we're gonna tolerate, and someday we will get it.
That's gonna get turned. We're gonna figure all this out. But guys, we got a lot of really cool stuff going on, and Jacob, thank you again for joining us from Boateka. It's really great to have partners like you all in the community. What's been going on over there lately? I know you guys have been selling lots of boats. You have a lot of great deals. You got your Boston Whaler hat on.
Yep.
So what's going on, man?
I'd say the first thing and then the big thing is going to be the fence.
Isaiah's doing the microphone. This is the best part. You guys can see.
Yeah, we're gonna make big adjustments right here.
So Isaiah's is this Jacob? Jacob, is it your first time doing radio?
Yeah. This is my first time being on the radio.
Awesome. Well, so for a lot of you guys that aren't radio, usuals, regulars, if you will, it's something that you have to get used to. The microphones, there's a certain way you have to talk to them. We love it. It has to be at the certain height. I've been doing this for like 6 years now, and Isaiah is still like.
You could even go like this. You could do the side
up, down. It's a hell of a lot of fun. But he has fun with our guests. So if Isaiah starts giving you hand signals and everything, unless it's the middle finger, then you're yeah.
If you hear like a bunch of creaking and stuff, it's us moving these microphones around.
But
that's what they say.
So anyway, Jacob, tell us a little bit more about what's been going on at Boateka.
Yeah. So we're within the next couple of weeks, we're finally getting our fence in. So we will have super large inventory selection. And boats will be outside basically all the time.
Good.
But we'll still have our showroom packed full. So when it does get hot out, everybody can come on by and come in the cool showroom and check everything out.
It's good. Yeah.
Amazing.
And so as far as obviously, inventory goes, you guys, y'all have a really nice setup for people, especially like if I was looking at, let's say, my first boat, right? Like something in that to low 20s range. I think that's a great first boat for people. If you're going to go out there and get your first boat and it's going to be 40 feet long, you can do it, but I think that's taken on a lot. And the other thing that I notice is a lot of people also, they go to Facebook Marketplace or whatever and go try to find a boat for crazy stupid price or whatever, and they don't know what they're getting into.
Right.
And especially if it's your first boat, it may make you never want to buy another boat again, right?
Right,
like
for sure.
It may kick you out of boating because of all the things you had to fix from your Facebook Marketplace project. So, right? What? Are you just looking at us on Bone TV?
No, I was more listening to what you were saying.
Yeah, think about that, right? like you go buy this boat on Facebook Marketplace. It's badass. You're like, oh, this is so cool. And then like you go do stuff on it and you're like, oh my God, it needs everything redone. Right.
Well, and again, that's perfect example of buying a used boat, and for example, we Gray and I, again, we don't live together. We're neighbors, so we're buddies and neighbors.
Down the street from each other.
Aside from the radio, we hang out a lot and a lot of stuff like that. But ended up buying a boat from a family friend. Absolutely love it. The biggest problem that I had with it is the fact that, hey, there's a lot of work to be done between all kinds of wiring gremlins and fuel gremlins and all kinds of stuff that I've had to sort out, obviously at my own expense.
Yeah, it gets
You're
expensive.
not going to have that problem
time.
if you go to Boateka and you purchase one of their certified pre-owned boats. And that's why it's so cool that you guys offer that, because we always tell people, Mastery Engine Center, perfect example. Huge supporter of the show. We've had the opportunity to send people there for the longest time. It's like, hey, Did your boat motor stop working? Hey, go get a Suzuki Repower from our friends at Mastery Engine Center. They hook you up. They got great warranties, and they got service all over the state of Florida. Guess what now? We can actually say, hey, you don't have a boat, period?
Right.
Guess what? Our friends at Boateka, right on Gulf to Bay Boulevard, they can put you in a boat that is certified pre-owned, 100-plus point inspection. A lot of you guys are owned by Brunswick, so a lot of times you guys will have a new Mercury engine on the back of those boats. But, I was in your showroom the other day. You guys friendly fire. You got Suzukis and Yamahas and all kinds of other stuff. And, we're certainly grateful that we can provide that opportunity to
they're not
going to
rip a good motor off just to put a Mercury on it.
Well,
no, right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what I love about it, because we have so many. And I like to quote David Taylor, brilliant guy in the industry. He created the tilt trim switch on the motor. He won't take credit for it, but actually you'd have to ask him about it. But like a legend in the industry.
The one that goes on the side of the motor where you can sitting in the water and raise and lower it.
And it's so cool that we had a talk about different outboard engines and things like that, and it's amazing how all of you play so well together. And I think at the end of the day, what this industry understands is the fact that we want to get people on the water. We want to continue the sport. COVID-19, that was a huge boom in fishing and boating. Unfortunately, it was a huge boom in used boat prices too. So like Gray's talking about, you had a lot of people that are selling a boat on Facebook Marketplace for 20-30% more than it was prior to that. But you don't have that guarantee. And not to say everything that you find on Facebook Marketplace is bad. You can find a lot of good stuff on there, I'm sure. But I know I like a guarantee. And with Boateka having that
especially
warranty,
on a boat,
that guarantee, it's just a game changer for the customer.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what we like to hear, and that's what we like to do for our customers, for sure.
That's awesome. And now, if you guys aren't familiar with Boateka already, I would recommend you check them out. Boateka of Greater Tampa Bay. Check them out on social media. They're located at 1721 Gulf to Bay Boulevard in Clearwater. They're right down the road from our friends at Angler 360. Got a lot of cool stuff coming from them coming up. You guys are going to hopefully be involved with it too. We got some exciting stuff with Suzuki that we're going to be announcing in the several coming weeks. Very excited about that. Some cleanup projects and some stuff to better the community, better the waterways. And, we're grateful to have you all as a partner, but I would recommend you check these guys out. They have a huge inventory of everything from cobias, Boston whalers to, what other boats do you know that are just in the showroom right now?
Yeah, we got Nautic Stars. We actually have a 2005 Pathfinder that just came through.
Nice.
We basically got anything you could think of and want.
Dude, that's awesome.
Including pontoons and tri-toons, basically anything, man.
That's cool. That's incredible. And the important part about that is, if you don't already have a boat, you have huge selection. And, there are a lot of great dealerships around the area that have a lot of different boats and things like that. But you guys really have them all under one roof. You have that warranty. You have the ability that your boats, the ones in your showroom, just to tell you all that are listening a little bit about this, why I get so excited talking about it. They have a showroom that is indoor, that it is immaculate. It is a huge, huge building, and they have bright lights. Lights almost brighter than these damn things that are blinding me out. Why I look like Casper the Ghost on the Bone TV right now. But it's cool because you can look at these boats. And
get a tan, loser.
Yeah, get a tan. I was about to say, I'm pretty tan. That's part about this. Yeah. You can go in and you can look and you can see these boats, and you can see they've obviously been well taken care of. You've obviously fixed anything that's a problem. This is truly the last time I've had an experience like that would be, for example, this is going to be a perfect tie-in, guys. Rivard Buick GMC. I remember when I purchased my vehicle, certified pre-owned, saved a lot of money on that. The guys at Rivard gave me an amazing deal. Actually, Kurt, you Rivard guys that are listening, Curtis sold me my car. Gotta love that. But the cool thing about it is their certified pre-owned program, I ended up with a vehicle that was just as good as new. It looked new. It smelled new. It had a warranty. It had, and I still have it to this day. She doesn't get as much love as she used to because I'm usually using my truck and towing around the boat. But I tell you what, the vehicle is amazing, and it's really a testament to, you guys have a true certified pre-owned program over at Boateka. And if any of you are in the market for a boat and you haven't considered Boateka, check them out because you will not regret it.
So, Jacob, what about you? I mean, obviously you've kind of taken on a new role over there, but like, what's your background? What did you like? I mean, obviously, had you fished?
Yeah. So that's really why I do what I do and why I'm living where I'm living. I'm originally from Rockford, Illinois.
Nice.
Okay.
I know me and Zach have talked before, but I am
Midwesterners. You gotta love it, man.
Yep. Grew up smallmouth fishing, walleye fishing, crappie fishing, basically doing the old Midwest. The old Midwest route.
Midwest swang, as we call it. Actually, I think that's Nelly, but whatever.
Yeah, it's Nelly.
Good song, actually.
But, and graduated college last May and moved down to Florida to basically chase after my dreams of fishing and boating and hopefully eventually being a captain,
Yeah.
That's amazing. Now, I'm sure, as any captain will tell you, that's a tall order.
Yeah.
It sounds a lot better than it actually is. But when you have that passion, I was just out. We're going to talk a little bit about a trip we took with Captain Brian Ruby, Saltwater Cowboy Offshore Charters. We ended up going and having a great day, very, very far offshore. And it was a very productive day, too. Caught queen snapper and all kinds of stuff that we'll get into a little bit later in the show. But they'll be the first ones to tell you to have a passion for it. That's really what it takes to start and become a captain. Realistically, it's very hard work. And big shout out to all of our captains out there. Big shout out to charter captains. A lot of people don't realize the work we have to do. I'm thankful that I can talk about this stuff on the radio now while the rest of these guys are out there throwing nets like I used to have to do to get bait ready for our clients.
Yeah, they probably started throwing a net at 4 o'clock in the morning.
The prep starts. Yeah, the prep starts the night before. Just like any other fishing trip, the prep starts the night before. And big shout out to our charter captains for all the hard work that they do. It's a great career to do. Are you looking to be a captain, like a guide, or are you wanting to be like a merchant mariner?
Yeah, I'm thinking merchant mariner for sure.
Nice.
Even though I do have a strong passion for fishing, like you said, it's a lot of work and maybe not the outcome that I want for my career. But I think being a merchant carrier would be awesome, man.
That's great. And those, I know a lot of great guys that do that out there every day, and they seem to like it. A lot of the companies that y'all work for have fantastic benefits and things of that nature. So I think that that's a really good way to go. Just for you all that are tuning in, I want to do a quick tide report brought to you by our friends right up the road from them at Angler 360. Angler 360 is the best place that you can go for live bait, for everything, the famous no live bait needed, and every other thing, apparel. I love that store. Tom and the gang has curated things to a point where it is one of my favorite shops to go into. But they are right there, 2999 Gulf to Bay Boulevard in Clearwater, right down the road from our friends at Boateka at 1721 Gulf to Bay Boulevard. So looks like we have a little bit of an outgoing tide that's going to continue to be happening until about 10 o'clock or so. We looks like we have a nice high activity feeding area going on right now. So get that sunrise bite. It should be pretty good. Snapper and grouper have been plentiful in the ship channels. Trout and redfish have been great on the flats. A lot of snook cruising around the mangroves and those edges. Water temperatures are starting to get a little bit better finally. We've had a few cold snaps, and it's been, it's certainly been something to contend with, but the fishing's been great. Today, weather-wise, it looks like it's going to be fantastic. I know I'm probably going to be out on the water myself a little bit later, and I hope that a lot of you are getting out there and getting some fish for yourself.
It looks like winds are light and variable today. You're going to have a little bit of overcast sometime in the morning, but and it's 55 degrees right now. But
it's too damn cold. I want to be in the studio.
It is going to warm up.
Hope you got your
about 72. But the other thing you've got going on is you've got less than a foot out by the Egmont Channel entrance, and that's on a 4-second period. So that's going to be pretty calm. 4-second period is it's a little short, but on less than a foot, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, winds are light and variable. Tomorrow, it's picking up. You're going to be at the Egmont Channel entrance. You're going to be 2 feet, 2.5 feet range. You're going to have winds coming out of the north at around 15 to 17 miles an hour or knots. And, the winds are going to be, like I said, coming out of the north.
It's never fun.
4-second period also on that 2 foot, 2.5 foot wave. So that's going to be pretty choppy. If you got a bigger boat, it really doesn't matter to you. But if you're on a 20, 25 foot boat, it may not be the best day to go offshore, but you could do it. You ever been out?
Do it.
Yeah, you ever been out in like 2.5 foot seas on a 15, 17 knot wind?
Not offshore, but
yeah.
The other day, me and Don Mitchell, I came back from Tierra Verde. We were bringing a boat back, and it was blowing probably 20, 25 knots and 4-foot seas, and we were in a 18-foot boat. It was it was fun to say the least.
Yeah.
Well, you're not a good friend with somebody until you nearly die on a boat together.
Did you come all the way from Tierra Verde up to Clearwater or what?
No, we went from Tierra Verde to basically Fort DeSoto.
Oh, that's not so okay.
No,
so,
it was probably about 5
so
miles.
you were headed south then.
7 miles. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's not so bad. I was gonna say if you came all the way up to Clearwater, that's a ride.
Yeah.
I've done it myself, and there's been times when you get caught in something like that, and there's just nothing you can do but ride it out.
Yep.
And try to find your nearest inlet. And of course, this time of year, you're not really going to deal with thunderstorms. You're going to deal with fronts.
Right.
And those are going to be kind of more consistent weather. It's usually consistently crappy.
Yeah.
So that's
right.
kind of what you get. But today is a good day to go offshore if you're going to go. It looks like it's going to be pretty nice. It's probably the next few days, it's kind of weather kind of kicks up. Wednesday, it looks like it may rain some. But then, obviously we get back up into like Thursday. Friday actually is when it starts to look like you could probably maybe push it again. It's a 6-second period on 2-foot waves. So, I mean, that's not the worst. Saturday, the wave height picks up and the period gets shorter. So, and then of course next weekend looks really really bad, like 5.5 feet. Like Sunday is definitely not a day that you'd want to go. It's going to be blowing up to 32 miles an hour.
You're talking about this Sunday? You're talking about
next Sunday. I'm talking next
Okay.
Sunday. So if you're planning a trip for next Sunday, you need to look at the weather.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend. Now, if you're looking to get out on the water this Sunday, we still have openings on Tampa Offshore Fishing. Guys, if you're not already a member, be sure to join Tampa Offshore Fishing. It's your one-stop hub on the internet for really anything and everything fishing. We have over 35,000 members, and you're talking about everything from the ability to book a charter to the ability to just cut up and talk smack with other anglers. And you can also, believe it or not, get ideas of what's going on, what the bite is. You can see what people are posting, what kind of fish, and really kind of gauge what you're going to be going into if you haven't been offshore for a while. So join Tampa Offshore Fishing on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram, and follow Tampa Bay Fishing Radio on YouTube. We try to post our live show here every week in the video format from the Bone TV and upload it to the YouTube channel. And we also have some pretty cool stuff that we're going to be collaborating with some other YouTubers and things like that coming up here in the near future. So, hey, our job is to entertain you, and we hope we do a damn good job doing it. So, yeah, Jacob, let's talk a little bit about fishing up north. I know a lot of people started as freshwater anglers. I know I did myself. Fishing with my dad and my brother was one of my favorite things growing up, and it ended up to be my job, which has been a blessing. And we caught a lot of stuff, everything from northern pike to channel catfish, perch, things of that nature, walleye. What was your favorite thing to catch? were you more of a bass guy or
Smallmouth? Yeah.
smallmouth? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, man. I love smallmouth. I more so love the way that you fish for them.
Right.
Mainly offshore. At least for freshwater lakes, you go offshore. You go in about 25, 20 feet of water. And there's really nothing like having a 1,000 size or 2,000 size spinning reel in your hand, pulling up a 5-pound smallmouth out of 25 feet and feeling that drag pull and peel.
Amen.
There ain't nothing like that.
Well, that's awesome and we don't get an opportunity to talk about it too much. I know we had Blake Smith and a few other people on the show prior, and a lot of enthusiasts that do freshwater fishing. Because let's face it, a lot of you listening right now, you love to fish saltwater, but a lot of times a lake or a pond is going to be a little bit more accessible to you because let's face it, by the time that you either book a charter or head over, say you live in Lakeland or Brandon or an area like that, or even some of you guys way over in Kissimmee, obviously lakes are a little bit easier for you to access instead of hooking up the boat and driving all the way down here. But it's really smallmouth, man, are a fantastic species. Personally, I love the largemouth bass fishing, especially down here in Florida.
Yep.
We have some amazing strain of largemouth here. Some of the biggest that are really out there. Florida and Texas, Florida, Texas, and California have amazing largemouth bass fisheries, and there's just something about catching a fish like that in a freshwater lake that it's just. You may have a day where you just suck, and you may just have a suck bite, and it's just awful, and then you just whack them. And then you have just that hook set with that perfect hit when you did that perfect cast with that perfect presentation of your artificial bait. It's just something magical about it. Yeah. And then you got guys that just like throw shiners, which is cool. I
used to use shiners a lot on largemouth bass here in Florida. But the other thing that worked really well is especially coming up to this time of year where it's like March, April, they'd be bedding, so it's really obvious where they are because, you just have these big sand areas like in the middle of where there would normally be, like a grassy bottom and, they fanned it out with their tail, and I just take a brim and just throw it on their bed.
Yep.
And the largemouth bass, obviously they take offense to that.
I think if you threw a brim in anybody's bed, they'd probably take it.
That's true. Yeah, I'd be upset.
I wouldn't be pleased.
Yeah. I mean, right.
Yeah. They a brim or a bluegill, something like that, or a shiner. If you got shiners, those actually will work. Even better.
All of the same
it's
effect.
just a matter of of getting shiners. But they really don't like that, and they'll go and attack that whatever is on their bed. They're really territorial about it. Obviously, they're spawning. They're laying their eggs down, and they don't want anything to eat them. They're protective. So that's one of the easiest ways to catch them. That's always what I with largemouth bass. That's what I always did. I grew up in a community in Jacksonville that had a golf course on it, and we had some 6-7 pound bass in there that you could catch pretty regularly. We also had some 30-pound catfish in there, which
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Occasionally you'd find a bass that was even larger, but pretty common to find 6 and 7 pound bass in those lakes. So, but then also I grew up. There was another area I lived in, Fleming Island, up in Jacksonville, and there was a lot of 8 to 12 pound bass in that area. Which if you ever catch a 12-pound largemouth bass, it looks almost fake.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Yeah, their eyes are bulging
the biggest
out.
one I ever caught was 12 pounds. It was a monster.
Yeah.
Yes.
Historic dinosaur.
I mean, being from up north, that's just not what we had up there.
Right.
I mean, a 6-pound bass up there, 7-pound bass is giant.
Yeah.
And really a fish of a lifetime up there. And then coming down here, double digits aren't necessarily regular, but in some places they are regular for some people.
Yeah, for freshwater for sure. And then of course, you get into offshore fishing, and you start or saltwater fishing in general, and the size goes up, everything goes up, money goes up, it gets more expensive.
Right.
But it is, to me, when you catch a 7 or 8 pound red grouper, that's a keeper red grouper, but but it's just not that huge, right?
Right.
Whereas, I mean, people catch, 20-pound red grouper and stuff. And you catch these gags now that are, 30, 40 pounds, stuff like that.
Well,
somebody showed us a 66-pound gag. It was Dustin Moore from Hernando Beach Charters.
Last week we had
pounds.
Captain Dustin Moore from Hernando Beach Charters, and he showed us a big old black belly.
Yeah,
it was a toad, toad breeder. Beautiful fish, but this freshwater talk reminds me of a time where I completely looked like a moron on the water, which, let's face it, that's usually. I had a day that I could do some freshwater fish, and I took my old flats boat, and I ended up going out in a lake in Lakeland, and I ended up grabbing some shiners from the local bait store, and I put them in the live well, launched the boat. Didn't bring the tackle I wanted to. So what did I do? Well, being the flats boat on the lake, I did exactly what you think I would do. I pulled out a cork, a popping cork like a clacker, and I was throwing out shiners, clacking them on the top of the water. I was smoking bass. Yeah. It's just incredible that the same thing. And if anybody saw me out there, they'd be like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? And it's a lot of fun, but man, Jacob, it's really a breath of fresh air to talk a little bit about freshwater fishing, because we really get spoiled with the abundance of saltwater fishing that we have living South Tampa, St. Petersburg area that we're in.
Sure,
very very cool. What's some cool stuff that you've gotten into down here? I know that you're usually on the water. I know you transport a lot of boats with Boateka.
Yep.
You and Don did a lot of great work doing that. What kind of stuff have you been catching lately when you've been fishing in Tampa Bay?
So yeah, I mean, what I like to do is I like to wade around. Being from up north, I got waders. We used to fish in creeks and rivers all the time, so that's what I do down here. And I've been on the trout, and that's about it, honestly. The trout have been good. I live right off of West Shore.
Right.
And the bite right around there has been solid.
Agreed.
It is, yeah.
Fishing
That's
those
a good
flats.
area to catch trout.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
fishing those flats, it's been good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And wading is a nice way to do it because you can sneak up on the fish.
Right.
If you try to roll in on a gas motor onto a grass flat, you're going to scare off a lot of activity. It's all going to you're going to see all this stuff just run away the second you pull up. So, walking out there, makes a huge difference as far as your ability to blend in with the natural. You're not making a bunch of noise and putting a bunch of vibration into the water and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and even some trolling motors, make a bunch of noise and stuff like that. So it's, and hull slap, depends on the hull you got, but hull slap can stop you from catching fish. There's just a bunch of different advantages to that. I used to wade out in front of Culberth Key a lot, and that was actually a really good area for redfish, and black drum would be out there certain times of the year. But there's a flat out there with you get all those rocky areas and stuff, and it does have certain spots that get kind of deep, and obviously there's a channel that runs through there, so you got to watch it, make sure you don't step into the channel.
Right.
But it was a lot of fun, and of course, and there's snook all over that area too. So it's good.
Yeah, I'm kind of waiting for the snook to roll in there because they will be coming in at some point.
Yeah, I mean, Jacob, I personally have caught my biggest snook wade fishing.
Yeah,
right here in the Tampa Bay area, right around the area that you're talking about. And what people don't realize is we have so many spillways and so many little creeks and stuff that run off into the estuary. It's perfect for snook. And really, a lot of these deeper areas that we have, a lot of marinas and things like that, they offer those snook a place to go that's a little bit deeper and safer, especially during these cold snaps. Yeah. So, there a lot of great fish have been caught in this area, and you're on the right track there. Yeah. You ever do any offshore?
I know I have not. So a little bit about how I got down here. My family and I, we would vacation in Marco Island a lot. So that's where I kind of got hooked on saltwater fishing, was down there.
Nice.
Which down there, it's a great fishery. Marco Island and Goodland. Great fishery, lots of inshore action, lots of offshore action. But yeah, that's kind of what I got into. And being a bass fisherman, picking up inshore fishing was like just, going from one thing to the next. It was super smooth transition. It was super easy and simple for me. So that's why I really have kind of just gone down that route. But definitely am interested and have done my due diligence on offshore fishing. Just haven't had the resources.
How many times have you been on a boat where you've been out of sight of land? There's a line of question.
Maybe.
I was gonna say, who the hell are you talking to, me or him?
Maybe 3 times,
Okay.
And that would be on big lakes up in Wisconsin.
Did you ever get seasick or anything like that?
I got seasick one time when I was younger, maybe about 10.
Yeah, so there's like always this, whenever we take a friend fishing that's like never been offshore before, we kind of have a process that I like to run through, and this really helps because you don't want to be in a situation where you're 15, 20, 25, 50 miles offshore, whatever it may be, and someone's throwing up the whole day, right? So if you're not sure, take a Dramamine the night before.
Yep.
Then when you wake up, take another one in the morning. And that way, you can't just get up in the morning and take Dramamine. That won't work. You will get seasick if you get seasick.
I learned that from the late great Captain Billy Nobles.
Yep.
A lot of people make the mistake of taking that Dramamine in the morning. Doesn't do a damn thing for them. If they take one the night before they go to bed and take one in the morning, they're just fine.
And I recommend, if you don't know, if you're not sure, go ahead and just do it, because the last thing you want to do is be offshore and figure out, oh, I'm a person that gets seasick.
Yeah,
right?
that's actually true. I have some friends of mine that come down and fish from Pennsylvania every once in a while. He's got a big Boston whaler of all things, and we had a day where we went out with him and some of his buddies, and there were a couple of guys on the boat that were getting sick. One of the friends was like violently ill. Like seasick on top of being hungover.
Yeah.
I would not imagine
No.
the pain that
No,
that would
absolutely not.
Yeah.
Which obviously I can tell you I've never been seasick and hungover before. Now, maybe hungover on a boat, yes. Maybe seasick, but never both at the same time.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and I've never been. I don't think I've ever been seasick. I don't think I've ever been seasick myself. And it's just your inner ear is different or whatever it is. There's nothing you can do about it except prepare for it. But if you ever do go offshore, especially out of here, because it's a different thing. If you're on the East Coast, you might only be like 5 or 6 miles offshore. It's just a quick run back in. But on this coast, to get to where the fish are, you typically have to go, 15 to 40 miles at a minimum. You run into a situation where you're going to be, big commitment out, big commitment back in, at least an hour, depending on the boat. And that's going to be, something that a lot of people, they either may not be willing to run you back in, or, whatever, unless it's like a real medical emergency, not just seasickness. But you don't want seasickness to lead to a medical emergency, and you also don't want seasickness to just completely ruin your day or make you never want to go offshore again. So I would heavily recommend you, that, like, for instance, if you ever came with us, I'd suggest you do that just in case.
No, for sure.
It's just it's a simple process. It's easy. And if you don't know, there's no reason to find out. Right.
Yeah.
But it's kind of crazy because, like some people say that you can jump in the water and that cures it. I don't know if that cures it or not, but I don't really want you jumping in the water.
Yeah, right. I don't think I want myself jumping in the water.
A lot of people say, "Oh, just jump in the water." I don't, and charter captains will get really upset with you if you jump in the water.
Yeah.
Because they obviously are trying to keep you safe and don't want anything weird to happen to you. And being outside of the boat is where the weirdest things could happen to you. So, if I was a charter captain and you were super seasick, I might even. It depends on how the charter is. If it's a split trip and you have, 5 other guests that are on your boat, it's going to be tough to suggest that you go back in for one person, right? So if you're thinking about doing a charter and you're not sure if you get seasick, like I said, do this process, and you should really, in most cases, have no problems with seasickness. But I've seen it a million times where people don't know, and then they end up going out and getting seasick and having a really rough time, not catching any fish,
Right.
and spending their money, right? Because if you go out on a boat, you're spending money one way or another, whether you're going on a charter or whether you're buying gas and bait, and you maybe you even own the boat. I've taken guys out, like on consult trips that were the boat owner and they got seasick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they just bought a 30-something foot boat.
Right. And
I'm taking them out, showing them how to fish, and next
Right.
thing I know,
they're
throwing up over
Yeah.
the side while I'm
Right.
running their boat. And I'm like, man,
Right.
that's rough. Like, could you imagine making that big investment? A couple $100,000 to find out that you get
You
seasick.
can't even handle the boat.
Yeah, on your own boat.
Right.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't be the happiest way to go about things.
But it can happen. That's the thing. So, there's just so many things. The other thing I'd say is, if you haven't been offshore out of this area, it is mostly a bottom fishery. Some people do troll a little bit. We talked about that a little bit on the last show. With Hernando Beach Charters. They had mentioned that they like to troll, especially on really rough days.
Right.
Of course, they're in a 42-foot Invincible, so that boat can handle a lot.
Yeah.
And there's days that, a lot of guys would not fish, that they can still go and do something, right?
Right.
But like, for instance, if we took out a boat from Boateka, like a 25-foot or 27-foot something, that's a boat that I wouldn't push it too hard. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you never really should if you're an inexperienced boater, or if you're not super confident in it. Always check your weather forecast. But we see so many people that, ask us questions on Tampa offshore, like, hey, it's going to be blowing 15 out of the north, and the seas are 2.5 feet on a 3 to 4 second period. Should I go? Right. And unless you're in a 40-foot boat, the answer is kind of like no, right?
Right.
Like that's there's better days to go. The other thing about that is a lot of people don't understand is a significant wave height. You have peak to trough, right? So that 2.5-foot wave may actually appear to be 5 feet tall because you're down in the trough. That's also going to be deeper than the total wave height. So
Right.
it's it can be 2.5 feet can be a rough day, man. Like I don't like and people say, oh, it's 4 or 5 footers. Well, no, not really. If you can be at a 5-foot sea, that might look like like an 8 or 10 foot wave to you. Right.
Yeah.
And that's really scary, especially on a short period.
Right.
That's the one thing that, short wave periods, which we deal with frequently in this Gulf of America, excuse me.
Gulf of America.
It's taking me time to get used to that.
Come on, man.
I like it, but it's
This is a patriotic
used to
show.
saying it.
Got can't do dead naming.
No.
It's-
But yeah, no, if you're in that situation, you're gonna have a hard time fishing, and you're gonna regret going. And you're also, you're putting wear and tear on your boat. The boat is maybe meant to handle it, but it's the more you do stuff like that, the less time it's gonna last.
Yep. 100%.
Hey,
What's up?
I wanted to make sure that we told you guys we got a very, very cool garage sale today. Marine garage sale. It's going to be happening over at the Old Salt's office. It's 4685 95th Street in St. Pete.
Yeah.
If you know where the Wawa is, it's just past the Wawa over by Pro Marine and all those folks. Really cool stuff. We got $2 T-shirts, $2 reels, miscellaneous fishing gear. Looks pretty cool. Our friend Mr. Tom Verdensky just posted that in the Old Salt Fishing Club. So if you're over in that area and you want some really cheap quality fishing gear, hey, do it and raise money for charity. Old Salt Fishing Foundation. Yeah, man, we lot of cool stuff going on right now.
Yeah, we have the grunt hunt coming up.
We do.
That'll be a lot of fun. May fish it, but the grunt hunt is always I don't know if you've ever fished. You probably have not fished the grunt hunt.
No.
But what's fun about it is, you go like 10, 12 miles offshore, 50, 60 feet. That's where you can really get nice trophy grunts. And that's, they weigh in your grunt, they cook them for you, all that kind of stuff. It's just a really cool event. It's great if you have kids and you want to take your kids offshore, but not like super far offshore. If you got, a kid who's getting into fishing, sometimes that 40 to 60 mile trip isn't the best one to take your 5-year-old kid on the first time.
Yeah.
They
maybe not the best idea.
Yeah. You don't know. I mean, it may be fine, but if they flip out, or have a bad time or get scared or whatever, if you're 10 or 12 miles offshore, at least you can be back home in 30 minutes instead of 2.5 hours.
Tell the kid to toughen up.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Hey, that's how it would have worked for me. But some of these kids nowadays, obviously if you take their iPad away for more than an hour, they end up,
Yeah, my dad was out with my grandfather.
Having an existential crisis.
Well, exactly. Because in a lot of these kids, I hate to say that they're soft, but let's put it this way. My father was out on the boat with a grandfather and his friend when my father was young, and ended up throwing the anchor, and he kind of didn't tie it down first.
Okay, so yeah, mistake.
And so my grandfather pitched him in and said, find it.
Well, this must have been in a lake up north somewhere where it wasn't that deep.
I think it was a lake or a river. I'm not sure. No, it wasn't the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah. Now,
Which is now the Gulf of America.
Yeah, we did that one time in the Gulf of America. And actually, I was with my buddy Felipe, and the anchor came off. And what was really ironic about it was we ended up using the stern anchor to anchor up and fish. And then when we pulled the stern anchor, we actually had the bow anchor hooked into the stern anchor. We pulled up the anchor.
I did the same thing. So I went from my Boston Whaler, that was my previous boat before I had my flats boat before this boat, and ended up having
this was like in 120 feet of water too.
No. Well, this is crazy because I ended up having, I was in the ship channel here in Tampa Bay and probably about anchored in like 30 feet of water, lost my anchor. I'll be damned. Dropped my anchor, same spot. I'm fishing it. I pull it up. It was real pain in the ass to pull up. And I'm like, what is this? I pulled up my old anchor that I'd lost like 3 weeks before.
Yeah.
It's crazy how that happens. Yeah. But Gray, I say that's a hell of a lot better than having to jump in and find it, especially
and you
Gulf
ain't
of
going to do it
America.
in 120 feet.
I don't know if it's like Justin, or somebody. I bet that they could do it.
You know what? If someone wants to go down and try and get it, that's great.
It sounds like a Rob Arrington thing. He's like, guys, I got to get this anchor.
Yeah. That sounded like Rob Kennedy almost.
Guys, we have to get the anchors.
I'm going to tie it down and I'm going to get the anchor. Anyway, whatever. We do that too much on the show. Poor RFK Jr., whatever it is that got his voice, I think his voice is getting better.
It's the worm, man.
Yeah, it's the worm. That'll make you talk to the worm. I saw him injecting some sort of blue dye into his drink the other day. I don't know
we
what
can
it
talk
was.
about that after the
commercial break that we're getting forced into.
Yeah, we got,
It's Isaiah's fault.
We got to pay some bills. But, guys, we're going to be back with more Tampa Bay Fishing Radio, more Jacob from Boateka, and a lot of fun stuff. We're going to talk a little bit about our recent offshore excursion, some of the fishing on today. If you're tuning in.
We have a giveaway we're going to do. We're not doing it, but we're going to talk about it.
We're going to talk about it. We'll be right back after this. Good morning, Tampa Bay, and welcome to Tampa Bay Fishing Radio. This is Captain Zac Sturm, and we are really happy to be here. Got co-host Gray Birchall.
What's going on?
And we got our good friend Jacob over from Boateka that's joining us this morning. How you doing, Jacob?
Good, doing well. Good morning, everybody.
Isaiah's on the boards.
Yes, I am. Hey, Zach, I got a quick question. How's fishing been lately?
Isaiah, it has been fantastic. We have been just really taking advantage of some amazing weather. A lot of you may have seen our posts on Tampa Offshore Fishing. If you're not already a member, be sure to join Tampa Offshore Fishing on Facebook. Like us on Instagram. Follow us. There's all kinds of crazy stuff on there. You have everything from the ability to book a charter to checking out what people are and catching, and sometimes just cutting up and making fun and, talking smack with other anglers. Unlike some other fishing pages that suck, we're not going to ban you for, talking like all of us talk at a marina. We enjoy it. We just ask that you're, respectful towards ladies and things like that. But nobody's going to kick you out for, a funny comment.
Also, if you are banned from Tampa Offshore, you may deserve it. But if you call me or message me and say, hey, my bad, what I did was wrong or whatever, I'll probably let you back in unless you just go back and do it again, which I'll just ban you again. We do have to, obviously keep you from threatening people, and also the other thing is, some people just join it and then immediately start firing like one advertisement after another. Right. Well, and we can't have that either just because it's just, that's not what it's for.
I say that in my Boateka hat. I like this.
Yeah. Well, but we obviously, radio show is an investment. And
I want to
explain
that too.
Yeah.
So we have, we're very grateful that we have supporters like Mastery Engine Center, Suzuki Repower, Angler 360, Boateka,
right?
Marine Marketing Pros, all of these this list of companies that are supporters of us, and we're very grateful for it. And it helps us with, the ability to pay the bills because unfortunately, I say unfortunately, but fortunately, we have a show.
Live in a monetary system. We have to make money to live.
We have a show on the #1 talk network in Florida.
Yeah, and
it gives us the opportunity. Obviously, a little bit better when you guys can listen to us in HD1, and it's not I've done radio before where it's like on an AM station. It sounds like a college or high school basketball game.
Yeah.
In the 1980s, you can almost smell the cigarettes. It's like, it's not the same experience now with the Bone TV and things like that. And so we're very grateful for our sponsors that make that happen. And we certainly couldn't do it without you. We could, but we wouldn't want to. God, remember back in the day when I just have to pay for the show myself.
Right.
And that sucked, and I'm so grateful that we have people like Rivard Buick GMC stepped up huge, has been a big supporter of us since day one. Cade and the team over there are just, kicking butt, selling a lot of great vehicles, making a lot of people happy. With Boateka, you guys are doing the same thing with the certified pre-owned boats. You all are offering a product that is superior for a price that is affordable. And you know that when you're purchasing something from Boateka, it's going to be covered.
You're rolling the dice on a private party boat. That's the bottom line.
Gray likes to troll Facebook Marketplace.
I love Facebook Marketplace.
Not where I would want to. Not where I would want to.
But like for instance, like with golf equipment, like golf equipment's fine because you can buy something like a driver, or like I just bought a shaft for my driver, or I bought a walking golf cart. That's electric powered, right? So like when I walk sometimes it's got, so I don't have to carry my own bag. Those kind of things are fine. But that's because I'm not going to get stranded in the middle of a golf course, right? Like, like I'm going to be safe no matter what happens to me at the golf course, unless, I get attacked by an alligator.
We cannot talk about golf. We're going to upset
we're going to have a few seconds of this. But it's a big difference between that or buying a boat, right? And a boat has got to get you there safe and home safe.
Suzuki,
and that's why you've got to be in that situation where it's important to make sure that boat has been checked out, and anything that needs to be redone has been redone and comes with some sort of guarantee on the boat, so that way you're not in a situation where you could get stranded.
Well, so I was talking to our friend Don Mitchell, Gray, and the really cool thing about that when it comes to Boateka is owned by Brunswick.
Right.
Brunswick's a huge company, very successful. They do everything from bowling pins to Mercury engines to Boston Whaler to you guys have larger boat companies as well, Sea Ray, et cetera. A huge company, lots of money. They stand behind their warranty, and that is a security thing. You know that you're buying from a big company that did this on purpose because they want to be able to offer that to the consumer. And I think it's really cool, and I'm really thankful that we're able to be a part of it and grateful for Boateka's supporting us because we can offer that now. I tell somebody, hey, are you in, what happened? What's going on? They're like, Zach, my boat motor just crapped out on me. Awesome. Master Engine Center, Suzuki Repower Program. Boom. Best you're going to find out there. 15 repower centers across the state of Florida.
Right.
Florida Keys, East Coast, West Coast, Panhandle. Done. Even an 800 number with dedicated techs. Easy. Somebody tells me, well, Zach, I don't have a boat at all. I was thinking about getting one, though. Great. Well, what kind are you thinking? Well, I don't know. I kind of like a center console for fishing, but the wife kind of wants to do, pontoon boat. And it's like, okay, well, you go down to Boateka, Gulf to Bay Boulevard in Clearwater.
And that's where you get the center console for fishing. Yeah. And tell your wife that she can do the same things on the center console.
Yeah, guys, don't buy a pontoon boat. I mean, unless it's like Amy McCraney's
they actually
pontoon
can
boat. It's badass.
I've been on several different pontoon stories. Number one,
we really died on one.
Oh, yeah, we did. We took like a yacht wake one time on a pontoon boat, and it was like 4 feet of water on the deck. It wasn't 4 feet, but it was like thigh deep water on the deck.
If we were all overweight, we would have been screwed.
It was horrifying. But then, the tri-tunes actually, can handle a little bit rougher water.
Yeah.
And it can be fun. Like if you're pulling up to a sandbar and you got, 10 people or whatever.
Right.
It makes a lot of sense. And it's like a floating living room.
Yep.
Right.
True.
Floating couch.
Yeah.
Floating couch.
So that is a lot of fun. But when you're, on a center console, I mean, you can do that same thing. And it may not be as comfortable to hang out in the boat, but, you're going to get out of the water where we live anyway. You're going to get out of the water and be in the sandbar area where, some of these sandbars out here, you can stand in, 2 to 4 feet of water and the water's pretty clear. And, why would you not be in the water? Right. It just doesn't make sense to me why you'd hang out in the boat unless you're just weird about getting in the water, which is okay, I guess. Some people are. If you were going to go to Boateka today and you were like, I really want to get like a center console for fishing or, that pontoon boat or whatever, you got anything stand out, like anything that would make you say, hey, this is like a boat that like you yourself would buy?
Yeah, for sure.
All
So
right.
thinking about, being able to hang out with the family and also being able to really get after it fishing wise.
Yeah.
The Nautic Star 2302 Legacy, perfect family boat, perfect offshore boat.
Yeah.
24-foot center console, has the forward seating up front,
Right.
has the aft seating, bait well, center console style, high gunnels.
Yeah.
And really, it's a perfect machine for where we're located.
Yep.
Super easy to load up on and off a trailer if you're going to be trailering it.
Yep.
Really a great overall boat. And we have 2 of them, both with low hours. They're really great.
What motors are on them?
Mercury 150s on both of them.
Okay. Cool.
But yeah, man, great boats, and really versatile.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Those, I've been on those boats before. They ride good.
Yeah. 100%.
They're
very
pretty good
smooth.
boat.
They're super dry.
Yeah. And of course, the other thing about one of these boats is, it's really weird what's gone on with boats, but, some of these boats now are just, they've gotten so overpriced and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there are still boats out there that you can get that you don't have to, just basically take that, and deal with the price being ridiculous on it. Like if you were going to look at a price range, and obviously, where would you land one of those boats, or like what kind of price range do you see most of the boats that you have at Boateka come in at?
Yeah.
Or where would you go to see these prices? Like, could you just go to your website?
Yeah. So Boateka.com, that'll bring you to all of our website, and all 3 locations are on there, so you can view our huge selection of inventory.
Okay.
At all locations.
Awesome.
And they are all transferable to the Clearwater location. So if you see something on there that you like, that's
you guys will ship it over here for you.
Yep. We'll
Instead
be
of
able
having to drive 3 hours or whatever.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Exactly. We can transfer it over and get the deal done.
That's
Nice.
awesome. Yeah, it's pretty cool to have that option. And I think it's going to be a great benefit for all of you out there that are just without a boat. You're looking to start from scratch. Boateka is the way to do it. You can end up on let's put it this way. Days like today, not having a boat sucks because you want to be on the water.
It's a nice day. Yeah.
And days like this are absolutely beautiful. And it's just something that Boateka can, bring to the table. And I'd say buy the boat. Life is short.
Yeah, 100%.
Isaiah, to answer your question, so
Yes.
we ended up having a fantastic day. We went off.
Catch.
Oh my God, what didn't we catch? So we were just tearing up the queen snapper. So to tell you all the story, those of you that are listening that didn't get caught up, I went out. I got a call from my buddy Captain Brian Ruby, Saltwater Cowboy Offshore Charters.
Yep.
And he's like, 100%, you want to go out and catch some queens? And I said, yeah. I mean, what else do you say when someone says, do you want to go catch queens?
Right.
And so we made a we made a run. Gray's having. I think he
Something
broke,
about this studio.
I think
just
you
makes
broke the cameras.
Makes me sneeze, makes my nose run. I don't
So
know what it is.
anyway, Gray's allergies good. Good. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get a Lysol wipe though for my hand.
That's great. You might want to just use the whole can, dude.
Maybe you should take a
So
bath
we
in
go
it.
out, guys, and it's a long run. Start the morning. We left at 2 a.m.
Ooh.
And because what our hopes, I mean, obviously we ran far enough. It was about a 4-hour run, and we hope to get out there around daybreak.
Yeah.
Just start fishing then, because usually the bite turns on around daybreak and evening, sundown. So
That's also when you're gonna like have your best chance at like a wahoo.
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
In that area maybe a nice blackfin or even a yellowfin tuna you could see an area like that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we were far. The beauty of Saltwater Cowboy Offshore Charters is Captain Brian does deep drop trips everywhere from Pulley Ridge all the way to the deep areas due west of Tampa Bay, and you're talking about a lot of opportunity to catch a lot of great fish. Well, he certainly did not disappoint. We ended up catching a ton of queen snapper, tile fish, all kinds of deep water groupers. The populations are very healthy.
That's a hard area to get to.
Yeah,
also.
don't let anybody tell you otherwise. There are a lot of different things. That, in fact, we got a few announcements, stuff that are going to be coming from the Gulf Council. I know everybody, whenever they hear the Gulf Council, they're like, one, change your damn name to the correct.
Well, it's still the Gulf.
It's the Gulf of America.
Yeah, be the Gulf America Fishery
They're
Management.
going to change it. They're waiting for the Secretary of Commerce or something. I don't care.
Secretary of Interior.
Secretary of Commerce is the one that has to do the.
Is it really?
The name change on the Gulf of Mexico Fisheries Management Council.
See, now that's weird because the Secretary of the Interior is the one who actually changed the name to the Gulf of America.
Right? But the Gulf Council is actually
This is
under
typical
NOAA,
government stuff.
which is under the Secretary of Commerce, the Commerce Department. It's
That's
the
stupid.
government. It's too
Yeah.
big.
Yeah.
We need to shrink it.
I mean, yeah.
It's too big.
Yeah.
We need to shrink it.
They're ripping us off.
They're ripping us
Yeah.
off.
But
Kicked Zelensky out of my office.
yeah, that was awesome yesterday.
It was
I know
great.
that was.
It's just awesome.
Not everybody's going to agree with us, but at the same time, it's like
Again, I don't care anymore because the majority of the population does. And again, we don't care who you voted for. We're here to talk about fishing and boating.
the unlimited money.
But I tell you what, it was really nice to see because, the one thing that we all are is we all are Americans. And nobody wants to see millions of Russians or Ukrainians or millions of anyone be killed in a senseless war when there's just other companies making billions and billions of dollars and money going missing and all that. It was fun to see that an American president and vice president actually stood up to someone that's essentially a foreign dictator. And it was
Canceled his elections, got rid of political parties in his own country.
like 16 of them.
Yeah, I know. It's just not really.
This is the stuff we talk about on
Yeah.
the boat, and it's
Yeah.
really refreshing. And Gulf of America. But so we were out there, Isaiah, and we're catching all of these deep water groupers, these queen snapper, all kinds of great stuff. And it was a fantastic day. We ended up getting back very, very late. I have a really exciting part of this that I want to talk about with Gray's already dying laughing.
It was funny, dog.
So my girlfriend doesn't understand offshore fishing. Not at all.
Oh yeah.
Not at all. Which it's amazing considering we've been going steady for quite a while, and I go offshore fishing a lot. But she seems to think that there's this magical number called like 8 or 9 o'clock that we're supposed to arrive home.
You'd be home by dinner, Zach.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And guys, you need to make sure that you control those expectations. You're going to get home when however long it takes,
or the helicopters are going to be looking for you.
Or yeah. Don't. So, and I want to talk about this with all of you out there and give this advice, because if you are a girlfriend or a wife of somebody that is a fisherman or boater, especially one that has experience. Now, I understand that there are a lot of people that don't have experience. That's okay, but again, your mileage may vary on that. Don't call the Coast Guard immediately if somebody does not get home. Now, if someone says, we will be home
at 2 p.m.,
let me explain to you a scenario that could happen. We've been out on a boat before, I don't know, 50, 60 miles offshore, and an engine blows. One of the engines blows, and there's nothing we can do but put back on one motor. So what do we have to do? Put back on one motor, and that's going to
might only be able to do 10 miles an hour if you're lucky.
10 miles an hour, think about that. You're talking about minimum 6 hours if you're coming back. So you have to look at that and really...
That's if the weather's good.
Engage it. And I would definitely recommend guys... invest in something like an inReach or something like a communication device so that, they're only for emergencies because there's only so many messages you can send. And please explain that to your wife or girlfriend so they're not sitting here harassing you about something that's of no consequence while you're trying to rip a big fish up. It's just not going to work.
What I think of, what I think of is like maybe the boat just exploding like in one of the Jaws movies. Like there's only like a few things that could happen like that would cause you not get home. Maybe Bermuda Triangle, right? Not a factor here, but Loch Ness Monster. Maybe if there was like an alien
I didn't go fishing
mothership that's under the water, and as it raises out of the water.
Unidentified submerged object.
That's right.
That's a thing.
USO, I guess. Something like that. Or, there's, I said Loch Ness Monster.
Kraken.
Yeah, Kraken. But, the thing is, and not to make fun of worried spouses or anything like that, but here's the things that you should be aware of that will help ease your mind. Number one, Zach was out on a boat with a charter captain who has an EPIRB that will automatically go off if that boat starts to sink.
Multiple.
Right? Yes.
Multiple
EPIRBs. And the Coast Guard helicopter, it's an MH-60. It has a range of 600 miles, and it can do 180 miles an hour, which means that if you're 150 miles offshore, it can be to you in about an hour.
Which is not a big deal.
You don't want to be in the water for an hour. I don't want to be in the water at all, right?
You're going to be okay, though.
But they're going to come get you, and they're going to know exactly where you went in the water if that's the case. Obviously, you have to have a certain amount of life vests because you're out. Anybody who owns a boat has to. Obviously, Boateka would probably give you advice on that, too. Do you guys supply life vests? Or?
So we do not, but we do sell safety kits, and we have safety kits.
Perfect. Right. So you have the whole kits available that people can.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. That includes flares, fire extinguishers, everything you need to be legal.
Right. So and you have to have this stuff. It's required by the Coast Guard to have it.
It's so much better when you buy it in a kit, though, too, because a lot of times you'll sit there and you're going over the Coast Guard website and you're like, what do I need? You're like,
it's
what?
Confusing,
What do I? Because there are so many different things. You can bet they're going to paddle your ass if you don't have one of the things.
Oh yeah, they will.
So it's good to make sure that you have that whole kit. My life vests that I have on my boat, they're all in a package. I picked them up. They're all together, and they're going to stay in that package because if we need to pull those things out, we'll pull them out. But I don't anticipate, hopefully, ever having to pull those out, and they're just going to stay nicely in the most conservative space that they could possibly be in. And that goes the same thing with the flare gun and, all these other objects.
Dude, I watched a qualified captain where a dude shot a flare gun at somebody's house a couple weeks ago.
What?
I don't know. It'd be like illegal as hell. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it's at the very least, it's frowned upon.
That's prison, bro. Like, whoever did
Right.
that. Yeah,
I mean, those things have. There's some fire in it.
Yeah, they can
sure.
start a fire
Yeah.
in your house. I mean, it'd be like somebody Molotov cocktail in your house with like a projectile.
It's like a
that does-
Molotov cocktail gun.
Yeah, exactly. Not what you want to do to someone's house. And if you do that to someone's house, you probably are going to go to prison if they figure out who you are. So we don't recommend that. It was the craziest thing. I mean, it was on Qualified Captain. I sat there and watched it, and I was like, oh my god.
So not to get off topic, but yeah, we do that all the time.
Also, discharging a flare for no reason is illegal.
Yes.
Yeah, just in general. So.
And probably a bit bad form too.
Yeah.
The
always wanted to shoot one though in the air.
right.
Yeah. Anyway, go on.
Let's hope we never have to do that. Let's stay out of that. Well, Type 1 life jackets are completely different from the ones that I have and that many of you have on your boat that you take out in the bay.
Yep.
Type 1 are a very large life vest with extra padding, and they are meant for offshore and to be in rougher waters and be submerged and survive for a longer amount of time without
Saturating with water.
taking in any saturation
Right.
of water. Exactly.
Yeah.
So every single charter captain that we go out with, any of you go out with, they are going to say, hey, guys, before we go out, here's a quick rundown of everything on the boat. This is where the life jackets are. This is all. They give you a complete breakdown so that in the event of an accident or something crazy, you already have somewhat of an idea of what's going on and what to do.
Right.
It's no different than when you get on an airplane and you've got the stewardess. You can't say that anymore, right?
The safety check.
It's flight attendant now.
Yeah, whatever.
It's 2025. It's stewardess.
Steward or
again.
stewardess. I mean, it's that's.
Yeah, it's.
I don't understand why that would have ever been bad to say.
I think people just whine about something to whine about stuff at this point.
I don't understand it.
But yeah,
that's okay.
We're done with it, Gray. We're done with it. It's over. It's over.
I mean, I just, I felt like I went through an entire, probably 12 years of my life where like I couldn't use words that used to be normal words. Right. And
I don't even want to.
I mean, isn't that weird though to think about?
Yeah.
I mean, I would say it really started like around 2009, and then it just continued on for until just recently. I think people are just making a decision; they're just going to do what they want.
Thanks, Obama.
Yeah, but yeah, that safety information is really important. As you get on the boat, but safety is especially with a charter captain, it's their number one priority.
It truly is,
and they also. You got to remember they're on that boat too, right? And so they want to go home also,
right?
Just as bad as you do. In fact, maybe even worse than you do because they fish every day. And
if
they
you
might
kill
even be
all your
tired of it.
customers, the tips usually aren't as good.
Yeah, that also
just historically.
but you might be with them, so that's the downside of it. But the biggest thing that makes me feel relieved about any of it is the fact that a Coast Guard helicopter with 600-mile range can do 180 knots, right? It cruises at 155. Top speed's 180. So if you're 150 miles offshore, they do not go beyond 200 miles typically, right? That's the one thing to take into consideration. That is outside of the economic exclusion zone.
Yeah, that's international waters at that point.
So so they don't go into that. Then I guess what you deal with the Navy. I don't know. Like
I have no idea.
I don't either.
I don't want to find myself.
I was gonna say you wouldn't want to find.
No,
out.
I don't want to find
I
out.
don't want to deal with the Navy if I don't have to.
The Mexican Navy.
Yes. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So the I don't know.
They'd have great music and tacos and that'd be great. That'd be awesome.
Actually. But
you just hear the music. It sounds like a good time. Actually,
yeah. Tacos.
I love Mexican food.
But anyway, the big thing is, that helicopter, if you have an EPIRB, I think it's so important to have an EPIRB. If you have an EPIRB, that helicopter will come get you. Will it be, and we know people that it's had to pick up. We had someone fish the Old Salt Ladies tournament, boat got struck by lightning. They were 80 miles offshore, out by the middle grounds, and their boat was disabled. Obviously, at 80 miles offshore, that's a pretty big emergency. Right? So Had to leave the boat there. That's not what you want to do, but it is what it is.
That's what insurance is for.
That's what insurance is for. Pay your insurance premiums. But yeah, Coast Guard helicopter came out, picked them all up, and took them home. And they were, and that was the point I was trying to make. Also,
thank God bless the Coast Guard.
The boat went down and the EPIRB went off, they would be home already.
Yes.
Because that helicopter goes a lot faster than a boat.
Correct.
Right.
But that's the logic. Yes, exactly.
Right.
That's the way that but again, sometimes ladies, logic and reason isn't quite.
Oh my God, don't say that.
Okay. Well, what I'm saying is logic and reason doesn't come in sometimes when emotions are involved.
Yes.
And hey, guys, we have no problem with knowing somebody
what was
cares
that movie
about
As Good
us,
as It Gets? It's.
Oh no, that was. Are you talking about the Jack
Nichols?
How do you write women so well?
Yeah, he's like, well, first I take reason and accountability. I eliminate reason and accountability. What is it? I take a man and I eliminate reason and accountability.
Then I remove reason and accountability.
Yeah. It was like, oh, okay. Like that girl's just looking at him like, that's the worst thing I've ever heard.
Ladies, your husband, your boyfriend, anybody. Obviously, I'm sure they share the same sentiments that, us men here do.
Right.
It's good to have someone that cares for us, and we're very grateful for that.
Yeah.
But it's very important also not to, and I'm going to explain how this did not work out. So the Coast Guard was called. We were fine. I returned exactly when I said I would, which was late, and I returned late that night, probably about 11 o'clock or something like that. Well, by then, the Coast Guard was called, and this is something that's kind of a pain. And I love the U.S. Coast Guard. You guys do amazing work, so don't think I'm knocking you. I think this is a procedural thing or something that could be improved upon. The best course of action they thought that they could do was to call Brian Ruby's cell phone. Let's just think of this. And
well,
now,
he's 150 miles offshore, so it doesn't really work very well.
For those of you that don't understand how that works, if you're about 10 miles offshore,
yeah, that's about as good.
You're going to lose cellular reception. Your Spectrum, your Verizon, your AT&T, your T-Mobile, it's not going to work. You may get a signal, and I've had a few spots out by the ship channel where you can get a signal maybe 20 miles out, like one bar.
Yeah,
but you can't make a call with one bar, I don't think. Barely.
You're not going to receive one either.
Yeah, it's so
you can maybe send a text.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe.
So calling him, that was pointless, useless. And they also called the sheriff's department at his address. So there were sheriffs that were at his place to find him to see where the boat was. Well, one,
he's on the boat.
He's on the boat.
He's the captain.
Obviously.
So
the boat's obviously offshore.
Either.
So the logic there, no idea.
Yeah.
But it was a waste of, we're a big supporter of law enforcement on this show. And that is wasting a patrol's time when they could be otherwise helping.
Yeah.
It's a waste of resources. So I don't think, obviously, so I hate it because my poor girlfriend was worried and made a call. She made the wrong choice, but I love that she, thought about me to do it.
I am the one who said, just call the Coast Guard if it makes you feel better.
Damn it, Gray.
I was, because, it was like midnight. I'm trying to go to sleep. And I'm like, and I'd already explained, and I get it. I didn't know what time you guys were supposed to be back. I didn't know if it was, because y'all left at 2 a.m., and I wasn't sure. I knew it'd be late. I knew it wasn't going to be, 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Gray, you are gambling.
Yeah.
You're gambling with people's happiness.
So I was laying there and I'm like, I keep just saying in every different way, look, they're fine. Worry about it. I was like, the main point I made was if they're not back tomorrow morning, that's when you have a problem.
I would have said noon because it's all, so to put this for those of you that are listening to because I understand a lot of you may not.
Well, if you guys had to limp in from 150 miles,
exactly,
that would take 15 hours.
Correct.
That would be a bad time.
Dude, it would be a great time. I'll tell you what.
You could troll the whole way.
Dude, we trolled. So a fun story. My buddy Andrew.
It'd be a great time.
Seriously. So, and lady, I want you to think about this for peace of mind. we were out with my buddy Andrew on his 31-foot boat fishing the pipeline. We were like, I don't know, 75 miles offshore. We ran out.
Yeah.
We had engine trouble. We're like, damn it. So we end up trying to screw around with it. We finally got the damn engines to work. They're brand new engines. And they unfortunately had a bug or whatever. Yeah,
sometimes
sucked.
software messes them up. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, whatever the problem was, we ended up getting to go on plane.
ACM.
Until we're about 40 miles on the pipeline. Well, we're kind of screwed at that point. And what do? We start limping back. But what do? We threw a couple of rods out. What did we do? By the time we got back to Tierra Verde, we had a wahoo in the boat,
right?
2 blackfin tuna, and the other one was a barracuda.
Now,
it was not a bad day.
It's fun. Right. The big thing is, especially with these wahoo, and we've said this 100 times on the show, and nobody's really doing this, but if you drag plugs, like if you have 30, like man 30s lipped plugs, if you're dragging those over like hard bottom areas where you'll catch grouper,
yeah,
there are wahoo hanging out in those areas sometimes.
Absolutely.
And those wahoo can travel fast. If they see that plug, cruising across, their hard bottom, those wahoo can do, 30, 40 miles an hour, no problem. Like at cruise speed. So they're gonna hammer that plug. And that's gonna be, one of those like fish of a lifetime kind of stuff. Sand Dollar Dan has brought this up a lot, but I think, and next time I go out, just like red grouper fishing, whatever,
right,
in that range, I want to drag plugs from spot to spot as we move around, just because, I can't imagine, I'm red grouper fishing, like just so standard, regular stuff. And red grouper are fine. They're fun to catch. They're good to eat. But, and then also you mix a wahoo in the bag. I think that would probably change my perspective a little bit on what I'm going to do when I red grouper fish. So,
dude, are you guys seeing? So continue. I'm going to bring up this FWC thing in a little bit because I got some Gulf Council news before the show ends.
Yep.
There's been some crazy stuff, but I want to finish on this point of the reporting. So obviously, please don't worry, ladies, if your man does not get home quite on time. And you calling the Coast Guard, they really can't do anything. I hate to say it because her calling the Coast Guard was absolutely useless. If it was, because obviously, she called because she cared, as a lot of you ladies would for your significant other. The call was useless. There's absolutely nothing that can be done. It was sad.
Yes, very sad. Very sad.
It was so sad.
Yeah.
Well, and the worst part about this is, because clearly there's a VMS that's required from NOAA Fisheries for a charter boat and a commercial boat. Brian is both of those. Yes. Well, that can show where his boat is anywhere. And they have to use that for reporting. Well, apparently the Coast Guard doesn't get that information, or at least the people that were manning that particular phone call.
So who does? The Gulf Council?
Or the NOAA Fisheries.
NOAA Fisheries?
I'm sure that under some circumstances they could find. But again, however,
I know they can track all that stuff.
If anybody's listening that can do anything about that was a useless phone call. I mean, she was trying to get help, but there's literally nothing that could have been done safety-wise to help us, because they were like calling his cell phone.
Yeah, I know.
Which finally
my point of it was
when we got
just see if there's a report of any incidents on the Gulf of Mexico today or Gulf of America today.
Right.
And so, not reach out and wear somebody out about where they are when they're 150 miles offshore, because that's like, like you said, that's totally pointless. But you would think if there had been a pon or a mayday, right?
Buy your husband an inReach device.
Yeah.
It's like $30, $40 a month. You can communicate through satellite. Very affordable. I think the device is a couple $100. Nothing crazy.
Right.
And understand that multiple redundancies are very important when you're going offshore fishing. I think it's important having a boat, period. Even if we're going out in Tampa Bay. Say you go to Boateka and you buy a new boat on Gulf Bay Boulevard today. Well, you're going to save money, but you're also going to have an ability to get a safety kit. In their shop there, they got a lot of cool stuff. A lot of koozies. These things are great with water. They keep beer really cold.
Yeah, koozies.
I like them.
Yeah.
The cool thing about that is we have a saying, triple redundancy will save your life, because having a backup plan and then having another backup plan
That's a
is
catchy
imperative.
phrase.
I just made that up.
I know.
I mean, I couldn't think of the actual phrase, but you guys can obviously follow along with this.
I thought that was
but
really catchy.
yeah, it was. It was oh my god. Yeah. So please, ladies, don't worry, and we appreciate that you care about us. But as in this instance, unfortunately, there was absolutely nothing of value that was able to come from that phone
Right.
call. Were we actually in trouble?
I asked her. I said, "Do you have a prescription for Xanax?"
Oh my God, did
and
you
she
tell
was
her
like,
that?
"No," and I was like, "Oh, okay, that's too bad."
I was
like,
surprised.
"Just take a Xanax and go to sleep."
I was gonna
Like,
say, dating me, I'm surprised she doesn't.
I know. Yeah, she's gonna get
Oh,
one
dear
soon.
God, man.
Yeah.
Well-
just it's just part of it, sometimes. And when you on a trip like that, 150 miles offshore. Now,
I want to talk about reliable engines quick.
Yes.
Because we have something that's really, really cool. If you're not already subscribed, subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's where you can see videos like this one on 1025 The Bone TV stream after. You can watch these on demand, enjoy the show at your leisure. We're on Rumble as well. I think Rumble is way better than YouTube, and I'll tell you exactly why. Because YouTube, they pretty much say, hey, you have to do YouTube Premium for like $12, $13 a month, which is ridiculous. That's way too much money. And they have ads.
it's $18.99.
18.
I have it.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it's $20 a month.
That sucks. And the only
Cable
reason,
used to be $30 a month when I was a kid.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
It's
Yeah.
it's
Now
it's
it's
ridiculous.
$150.
But YouTube, I don't like it. The fact that they do far too much censorship. I mean, you were telling things that were true during COVID, and YouTube was censoring you. And it's just, that is un-American. It's not good business practice. And, YouTube is a great platform for creators, though. So obviously, we're going to utilize it. But I would suggest you get on Rumble, become a Rumble member. Very great content on Rumble, very free speech oriented. And you're able to lock your phone like a normal person. The app did not screw you out of that capability if you're listening to it in your car or
Right.
something like that, like YouTube did. And they block it in their app so that if you lock your phone, it shuts off unless you are a paid premium member. And so pretty much they're like, well, between the ads and having to have your phone unlocked and everything, YouTube is not as friendly to the end user with its capabilities, in my
Now,
personal
I
opinion.
want to get something out there. We're going to post a link to this show in Tampa Offshore Fishing.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are going to be doing a giveaway for raffle tickets for a Suzuki 200 horsepower that's going to be given away at the Fall King of the Beach. We're getting those tickets out there as fast as we can. We want to have as many tickets sold for that motor as possible.
You can buy them yourself
Yes, you
as
can-
well if you want to.
Yes.
Mastery Engine Center has been kind enough to donate this from our
Yes.
Suzuki Repower program. This is a 200 horsepower Suzuki motor, fully installed with rigging and everything.
Yeah.
Nearly a
So you bring the boat, they'll put it
$19,000
on.
value.
Yep.
And you can have an opportunity to win one of these raffle tickets from Tampa Bay Fishing Radio from being a subscriber.
Yep.
You can comment on the video, do that. Or you can obviously buy those yourself, and you can have a raffle ticket. You can have multiple tickets.
And you can transfer this-
oldsaltfishing.org.
And you can transfer this, if you don't have a need for the motor,
Sell it.
You can sell it and transfer the package to someone else. And that way, the value is still there for you. So, you can just say, hey, look, you can buy my Suzuki Repower package that I don't need.
Yeah.
So that's also a great benefit of it. It's got a great value
You
to
got
it, like
boats-
you said, 19,000.
You got boats of all
$100.
price ranges at Boateka, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. From what I've seen, it's safe to say you could end up with a boat with a certified pre-owned warranty for under $20,000 in some cases.
Yeah.
Smaller boat.
Small boat, yeah.
So think about it this way, guys. If you don't have the big, beautiful boat that gorgeous Suzuki motor would look good on, you could sell it. You could take the cash. You could go down to Boateka, and you could have a boat of your own with a warranty. And all you did was either subscribe to Tampa Bay Fishing Radio on YouTube or checked out oldsaltfishing.org and bought raffle tickets for that
Yep.
Suzuki Repower.
Just make sure. So you need to subscribe and you need to comment on YouTube or Rumble, Suzuki, in the comments, and that will enter you into a drawing to win tickets for this motor.
God, the Bone TV is wild right now. I look like Sauron.
Well, it's because the light's coming in from the other side now. Yeah, so the sun is coming. The sun is coming up, people.
Good morning, everyone.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. What was the stuff you were going to say about Noah? Because we don't have long.
Yeah, I know. He built a really big boat.
Noah's Ark.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, well, you asked a stupid question. All right, but in all seriousness, so something I wanted to clarify with NOAA Fisheries, the fish rules API populates the regulations on the Gulf Council website, and they had to choose a default location to port in those regulations. They chose deeper than 20 fathoms. That's why it shows closed.
Red grouper are closed.
So all that's being fixed and everything's fine.
I heard about that yesterday. I got a phone call and I was like, no, red grouper are open, just not to the past the 20 fathom line.
Also, yellowtail and mutton stock assessments have been completed. The catch recommendations are slightly higher, and as were mutton for yellowtail and mutton. And the council is going to start working on increasing those catch limits.
Nice.
They're not sure if the regulations will change much as a result, naturally, but that's some good news for.
It's cool that we're starting to see muttons.
Yeah.
Last thing I'm going to say, the summertime power bills are coming up. Florida Solar Experts, look at us on Facebook. But, we've got a lot of people that are just really tired of paying these $400 and $500, $600, $700 power bills.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I just worked with someone yesterday that had a $400 Duke bill. They're going to be paying half that to go solar. In fact, a little less than half. So give me a call, message me, Florida Solar Experts on Facebook. That's the easiest way.
Yeah, for sure.
Talk soon.
Yeah, dude, that's great. And Jacob from Boateka, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys. It was super fun.
Great to have you on. Always good talking fishing with you. Appreciate all that you do for Boateka and all that you all do for the show and all of our listeners.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, check out Boateka if you're in the market for a pre-owned boat. If you already have a boat, your motor died, check out our friends at Suzuki Repower, Mastery Engine Center, best in the country. And obviously, if you need a truck to pull that boat, check out our friends at Rivard Buick GMC. Guys, I think I'm going to go load the boat up, grab some bait from our friends at Angler 360, and we're going to do some fishing. It's a beautiful day. We hope that you have a great Saturday and a great weekend.
Can I go fishing too?
Maybe.
Anytime
we'll
you're not working, Isaiah, which is never.
Man, I can go down.
Hey, we love you guys. We're grateful for you joining us every Saturday. Big happy birthday to my brother tomorrow. Guys, great show. Let's get on the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.